Well, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Project Time Garage. Today we're back on Project F2Hooptie. Notice how it doesn't have any cab lights on the top, like from the factory? Today we're going to fix that with these. These are genuine Ford OEM cab lights. Pretty, huh? I'll leave a part number down there below for these. I think you get them from like Ford Parts Direct, or heck, you may even get them on Amazon. If you do, I'll leave a link. I prefer anyway to use the OEM lights. They don't, the lenses last a long time. They don't get all weird looking. The bulbs don't get all weird looking after time. So better to use the OE stuff, you know, when you can. A couple things you're going to need for this project. Obviously, you're going to need the cab lights, which can be had from Ford. You're also going to need the wiring harness, which I guess you could buy from Ford, but in our case, a junkyard was perfect. Or if you don't want to do a wiring harness, I guess you could homebrew your own. That's always an option. The third thing you're going to need is nuts to go on the bottom of these studs, because the lights come with the lenses, the bulb, and the base, and the neoprene, but they don't come with nuts. In our case, we used M5 by 0.8 nuts, and we also made sure those were nylock nuts so they don't back out. I'll leave Amazon links down below the video for everything that I can think of that we used. Let's start this process out, and we're going to start by doing some measuring. If only we had a truck that already had a set of OEM cab lights on it. Hey, look, that works. I think what we're going to do first here is I'm going to get up here with a tape measure, and we're going to do some measuring, and we're going to see, I guess we're going to start with the center light and see exactly where that falls. I'm assuming it falls directly in the center of the windshield, but we'll get a measurement on that, and we're going to find out how far back those lights are too. You know, how far back from the windshield trim they are. We'll go to the back of those lights and we'll get a measurement of the back of them, and we can mark it. And hopefully at that point we can just follow our marks on our tape and be able to get them positioned where they need to be. Now these lights are going to require us to drill 3 holes to mount them. We've got 2 for the studs, and we've got 1 that's going to come through for the actual plug itself. I'll just use a set of calipers here. It's going to be about 13/16 as far as the hole that we're going to need to drill in the center. We'll just use a stepper bit and drill it down to the 13/16 mark. That is the step here for my bit that is next to the bottom. Actually, I think it actually says what it is there on these 13/16. That's what we'll do there. And then as far as the studs go, those look to be about 2 millimeters, something like that. So we'll find the appropriate drill bit for those. Let's get some measurements off of my truck, and then we'll start laying some tape down on the other truck. So we're just going for the center cab light.
2 and a 6.5 butt to the center of that light.
Okay, 2 feet 6.5 inches. Remember that. Now we need to measure from this light down to the rubber. 5 inches.
Yep.
Okay, 5 inches back, 2 feet 6.5. So you said 6.5. Can you reach it? You're so much taller than I am. All right, so there's our center. And then we need to come back 5.5 inches.
5 inches.
Is it 5 inches?
Yeah, to the start of the light.
Ooh, there we go. All right, so that should be the center of that cab light. From the center, from right on that mark,
11.5.
11 1/4 for you.
Oh yeah, 11 1/4.
1 foot 9.5 for me. There's our rough marks. And now we need to set it back. 5 1/4. That's it's 5 1/8 is what it was. That's what it was. 5 1/8. So that one sits back to right there. And this one goes 5 1/4. Let's try that.
You just lay that one right where it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be right here.
All right.
That looking about right?
Yeah.
All right, so we need to go and do the same measurement your way. 7 1/4 and then 1 foot 9.5. That's the lights just sitting up there, Now, one thing that we're going to have to pay attention to, we've got the fronts marked and we know where they're supposed to be located, and that looks pretty much right. Also keep in mind, those are not the Ford OEM lights. We didn't use the Ford OEM lights for measuring, just simply because they got studs hanging off the bottom and they won't sit flat against the roof. Harder to measure. Those, he just happened to have those. They're like aftermarket Amazon ones that I probably wouldn't recommend. But anyway, we've got the front measured where we want it. Now we've got to be careful about the back, because those lights, they can turn, you know, this way and that way. So we need to go and get measurements of where the back of each one of those lights needs to go according to my truck also. So I'll give you that. 4 foot 1.5. We need to write this down, don't we?
Probably. I know my first light here to the back is 10 1/4.
So yours is 10 1/4?
No, it's 10 inches.
10 inches. Can you tell what the second one is?
1 foot 8 inches.
1 8.
Center is 2 feet 5.5.
Okay, I'll go this way and measure and see if I get the same measurements as you did. I got 10, right at 10. Is that what you had first? And then I have 1 foot 8. And about 2 foot, right at 2 foot 6, a little less 2 foot 6, 2 foot 5, and right at 3/4. That's what you had. All you really need to do is just make a mark at 10. Then 1 foot 8.
1 foot 8.
Yeah.
2 foot what?
So you said 5 3/4. And then we can flop it around. I'll do the same on this side. All right, so this one's going to be 10. Then 2 foot 8, or 1 foot 8. I mean, 1 foot 8, 1 foot 8. All right, so in this case, that means that they're angled a little bit like this. See?
Yeah, they're set back.
Yep. They kind of go with the flow of the truck cab. That's what I was thinking. I think at this point, let's move the cab lights out of the way and let's get a straight edge and let's draw a line. There's that one. And so we know that the front is here and the rear is here. I'm going to use these guys here. These are just neoprene templates that came with the cheap Amazon lights. If you don't have these, it's easy enough just to lay this on the light and just mark it out of a piece of cardboard. I just happen to have it. I'm also going to mark the center of this neoprene, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to fold it directly in half, and I can make a mark here, and I can make a mark here. That is the center of it. So now when I lay these up here, I can easily do this. I'm just going to lay it up here so that it's centered. I'm going to put a place for my holes. Go to the other one. I can line up my center marks with that one. Line up my center mark with that one. I'm not even going to go around it because really all I need to know now is where the center of it is. I didn't get this one centered good, so I'm going to have to go back and move it over just a little bit. His are way better centered than mine. All right, I'll start with the holes. These already have neoprene on the bottom, so they should be weather resistant right off. This magic marker will come off a little bit of like nail polish remover, acetone, no big deal. Well, this is the underside. So we have studs here. These are little lock nuts that you're going to have to purchase yourself if you do this project. Now we just have to plug our harness in. The center console piece comes down. It's just got a hook back there in the back that's just basically hooked in. And right here, it's got a couple of those metal push pins. You just yank and they just pop down. Okay, now we're down to the wiring phase of the game. This is a junkyard harness, and it has the connector up there for the trip computer and the lights and all that, which he already had. That's this harness that's laying here. While this end is the same up there as the trip computer, this end is different on the junkyard harness. This harness is wider and has more wires. And I don't know what all this harness had, but what I do know is on the truck itself, this is the part that's actually connected to the underdash harness. There's two wires right here in the center, a brown and a black. And those are already lights. Those are already for the cab lights. So since I can't use this harness, what my intention is to take the black and brown out of here, depin it, and shove it into this harness that's already got a provision for those two pins, but it doesn't have any wires in it. Then I'm basically just going to scab this harness over the other one. I'm just going to leave both of them in the truck, and that should get it done. First thing I need to do is depin these wires on this harness. And usually these things have these little red retainers, and you pop those out first. We'll use a pocket knife. Once that's done, I can grab a wire that I want to depin, and back in the very back there's this tiny little release thing that you can pull, pop the pin right out of it. You'll have to look for it. There's no way I can show it to you on camera, but it's back there. It's like a little plastic release mechanism. There we go. So there are those two pins out. Just to make sure that we keep our color polarity correct, I'm going to make sure which side goes on which here. So it looks like the brown goes on this side and the black goes on this side. So I'll just pop my retainer out again on my good harness. And that pulls out. So we should be able to just push the brown one in. That locks in place. Push the black one in. That locks in place. And we'll just stick our retainer back in. And that's pretty much it. That's done. As far as this old harness, I mean, I'm just literally just going to clip it right there. I know it's crude a little bit, but it works. All right, now that they're in there, the next order of business is replacing the LEDs, or replacing the incandescent bulbs with LED bulbs. And what we're replacing them with are these. These are from Super Bright LEDs. And they are 194 replacements, but they're COB bulbs, so chip-on bulb. They have an extremely long life, and they're glass, so they're an absolute direct replacement for 194s. The difference in contrast between this and your regular incandescent 194 is crazy awesome. I literally have hundreds of these bulbs. I buy them in the bulk because they work in everything and they look so much better. He's got the one on the right already replaced, but the rest of them are incandescents. Look at the difference on these. I mean, that is just noticeable right off the crack of the bat how much better it looks. And the color is right. It's got that natural, you know, warm incandescent color. So can't say enough good about these. I don't have an Amazon link to these because I can't find them on Amazon. I'm not sponsored by these people. I actually buy them. They're a little bit spendy, but I've yet to have one go out, and I've been using them for 2 or 3, well, probably 3 or 4 years now, or maybe longer. So anyway, I'd highly recommend these COB 194 replacement bulbs. All right, there it is, all hooked up. And went ahead and ran the cable for the dash cam while we were at it. And it's feeding right down this A-pillar, right down here behind this kick panel. Now you may notice that there's not a headliner in this truck. We're about to fix that. Well, this is our headliner that came out of the truck. The foam is actually really good on it still. It doesn't, you know, fall off when you touch it. So I think we're gonna leave the foam alone and we're just gonna recover it. And this is the replacement headliner material we have. You can go literally about anywhere to a fabric store and buy this stuff. It's just that fuzzy backed, or that foam backed stuff. It's basically exactly what the factory had. I think this is gonna be a little bit lighter than what that truck originally had. But if you just take like a sample of yours, take it to a fabric store, you can buy this stuff by the yard. It's pretty cheap. We really just need a few things to do this project. You need some contact adhesive. Today I'm going to use this DAP Weldwood contact adhesive. I'll leave an Amazon link for that. I'm going to use a pair of fabric shears with a broken tip and some tailor's chalk. This is some more stuff that if you do anything on the inside of a vehicle, this is pretty good stuff. That's pretty much it. Now it's important for me to also say that if this foam were trying to come off and trying to like roll up, I wouldn't leave it on there. I would, you know, sand it all off and get it down to the bare backer board. But in this case, it's in good shape. This stuff, I don't think it's going to really go. I think it fits better going across the headliner. Maybe we have more overhang. Yeah, we have quite a bit more overhang, I think, over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the center of the headliner, and we're just going to make a mark on it right about there. That's about the center. And we'll do the same thing at the back. This is 48, 46, or 23 and a half. So right along in here. We're going to do the same thing with our fabric. Find the center of it. This is 5 feet, so 2 foot 6 inches. 2 foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right there. There's the center of that. We're going to pull it out and we're going to overhang it by like a lot. And we're going to do the same thing on the back. We're going to overhang it a lot. Now all we really have to do is just lift up and make sure our centers are centered and make sure that your center is on that center. The reason we're leaving overhang is because as you push this down, it'll actually get smaller. It'll get shorter. It takes up a lot of room, and you don't want to stretch it. You want it to kind of fall into these little grooves and stuff. We'll just flip it back like that. And I'm going to give both of these a coat of spray. That stuff needs to sit there and tack up for a little while. I'll bring you back when that's set for, I don't know, a minute or two, something like that. Okay, time's come. We're going to try to hold it up and keep it off of everything. We're going to start from the center, and we're not going to pull for sure. Now we'll just flip it back to roughly where it was before. Do the same thing. All right, we wait. All right, let's try to work this side back on here. There's the main part of it done. You'll see a bunch of what looks like finger holes in it and stuff. A lot of that will come out, But also, if you just take the palm of your hand and push down pretty hard and rub back and forth, a lot of that comes out. We are recovered, got all of our holes cut. There was a slight mishap right there with the spray can. I don't know which one of us did that.
I do.
I didn't go into a lot of detail on this headliner, mainly because I've got an entire video that shows putting a headliner in this truck. So I'll put a link up there above my head to that video if you want to see a more in-depth tutorial on that. So I guess we need to put this thing in. You sure that fits this truck?
Yeah.
Perfect. The headliner came out pretty good. All those little divots and stuff will go away after it sits for a little bit. Still have to do a little work on the dome light. It has a few issues to work out. We'll be fixing that at some point, but overall, headliner's done and came out pretty doggone good, I think. Cab lights, they also came out pretty good. They look just as factory as they can be. They should have been factory. I'll stick a night shot of them in here too. Oh, yeah. Man, that looks like $1 million right there, doesn't it? Well, all right, guys, that wraps up that little project on the F2 Hooptie. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up down there if you did. If you have anything to say in the comments down below, please do so. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tell all your friends about us. Guys, I'll see you next time.